Retirement. It can be the golden years of your life. You're free to explore your passions without having to go to work and think about things like money, but at the same time adjusting to that change and thinking about your loss of income. It can be overwhelming. So joining us with tips on how to retire stress-free, we have clinical psychologist Dr. Tim Hope. It's a pleasure to see you. It's one of those things, everyone's excited about retiring, but when you look at the specifics of it, it kind of makes you nervous.
Yeah, and that it really is the key in terms of how are you looking at retirement? How are you getting to retirement? And people get to retirement in lots of different ways, whether they're doing it voluntarily because they've done their planning and everything's followed along according to those plans, or there's been downsizing, or moving back in terms of the number of hours that they have, or because of health choices that they make in terms of making retirement. So all of those are moving factors, moving pieces that can lead you to make different decisions about how you're thinking about retirement coming in.
I can only imagine that first Monday where you don't have to go to work and you're sitting at home. You have no idea what's about to happen. So you have a bunch of great tips for us and for everybody out there when they're thinking about retirement or maybe they're starting on their journey. The first one is that this adjustment, it's not something you can do overnight. It takes time.
Right, it does take time. And so give yourself that latitude. I don't know how long that time is going to be for you. For each individual person, it's going to be an individual difference, again, based on all those different factors. But allow yourself some of that time and some period to adjust and be aware of, well, what am I going to do? What do I want to do? Maybe you want to take that day or week or month off to just lay around, lay low, and take it easy. That's okay.
Yeah, it's not bad. You have to think about yourself because everybody's situation is different.
Right.
The next thing is there's that old adage, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but that's not necessarily true.
No, that's not true. And so we are constantly learning. That's one of the magical things about human beings is that we're always capable of learning and growing and trying new things. And so this is a golden opportunity to think about what is something you've always wanted to do? What's that passion you've always had that you haven't pursued because you didn't have the time, or that artistic bent that you never quite gave enough nurturing and time? That's time to do some self-reflection as you're having that period going into retirement, and then start to pursue them. You know, are you going to take on a hobby? Are you going to take on volunteering? Are you going to take on another job, another position?
Well, as you were saying, that self-reflection is so important, but it's also important to outwardly communicate with other people about what you're feeling.
Right. So you are with your partner. You've been with your partner through thick and through thin. You have used a variety of communication skills and coping skills to get through those ups and downs over your lives together. So now is a time to use those coping skills and communication skills. Again, talk about what your hopes and expectations are. Talk about what your wishes and your dreams are. It's a really good way to have that be a solid foundation.
Well, and that dynamic change must be pretty astounding when two people have gone to work, you know, they're 9-to-5s for 40 years, and then one of them retires, because you never retire on the same day. That switch, when one member of the household's at home and the other one's off at work, has got to be tricky.
Yeah, so we are also creatures of habit, we human beings. So as you move into retirement, know that you are throwing off those habits, those routines, and those structures. You need to build new habits and new routines and new schedules and structures. And that is something that you can do together by talking it through. You know yourself, know your partner, and talk it out.
And you have those interests that you were talking about earlier, those old passions. You have to capitalize on them, because why wait?
There's no better time than the present, right? And so we all like to feel like we're contributing meaningfully to our world around us. Maybe that's spending more time with your grandchildren. Maybe that's volunteering at the church. Maybe that's going to the food bank and restocking their shelves. Do something that helps you feel like you're meaningfully contributing, because you have the biggest gift, that gift of time.
So lastly, and I think it all culminates in this, it's enjoy those years that are ahead of you. Because why not?
Why not? Right? Live every moment, because every moment is precious. So enjoy that time. You have an incredible opportunity in front of you. And so trying to take that perspective, to take that attitude into it, can really make it very productive, very fruitful years for you.
And these are great tips for people who are retiring, but if you think about it, these are also great tips for people out there who are still working right now, because you know, you don't want to waste any moment. There's no time like the present. And if you have these interests, capitalize on them while you're working, because you always have time. Now, we put this question to everybody on Facebook yesterday. We asked people what they're doing now or what they plan on doing when they retire. Richard is thinking about moving to California, working in a wine tasting room at the Vineyard. Is that something that you think you could do?
That sounds wonderful.
I want to be somewhere warm when I retire. That's what I really want. Ben, though, Ben says, LOL, retirement? What is this, 2002? It took him a long time to find a job here, and that's tricky. And that can sometimes delay your retirement.
Financial stressors, financial concerns are really paramount.
But Wayne's got a good one, though. He's enjoying retirement. He's doing lots of gardening, and he's visiting his therapy dog, so that's nice.
Nice.
And Corey, though, Corey's still working. He's thinking about retirement and getting into the job market, and that's tough. So that being said, though, there's no better time in the present to enjoy yourself, but also always start thinking about retirement because it's something that you want to enjoy a little bit down the road.
That's right.